you could win. You can hit it because a couple people have hit it this year. So you had a little $100 machine that's pulled in, 400 grand, not bad. So it can happen. I've got one, I just let it run all the time. It's cool to look at once in a while, but yeah. But if you ever wanted to, go a little bit deeper, you could ask him or me any mining questions you have.
Well, I mean, there's only 21. I mean, right? There's only like 21 million coins or something, or some. There's a specific number of coins, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
And I thought we were very. I mean, we were like, aren't we like 3 million coins away from all the coins being discovered or whatever?
That is correct.
Okay.
Being mined, discovered. But remember, each Bitcoin is divisible into 100 million subunits. So you don't have to get one, you can just get dust. So, I pretty much earn every other day like zero point zero 0.01 Bitcoin, because I'm in some mining pools. And that's what I generate zero point zero 0.01 here, zero point zero 0.02 there. At the end of the month, it adds up. Maybe I've got half a Bitcoin in my account every month, but I put in more than, $100 in order to do that.
Right, but I mean, but you're saying that I mean, from what I saw, is that if I'm at 14 cents a kilowatt hour, then I'm only making 14 cents a day, give or take.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a cool educational piece. But and hey, if you hit it, you hit it, and time to buy a Lambo. But yeah, there are better strategies out there, I would say, to earn Bitcoin.
Oh. So, what are the better strategies to earn a Bitcoin then?
Well, if you wanted to go the mining route, there's cloud mining, and then there's also there are some folks that do retail level Bitcoin mining. I used to work at a place called SAS Mining. So you can buy one rig, and they've got locations in Paraguay and Finland. The power there is a lot cheaper. They've got 5.5 cents and 4.7 cents. So that's much cheaper. And
Oh wait, so I could buy a rig in Finland or someplace.
or Paraguay, yeah. At this service provider, I've had rigs with a couple different folks in a couple different parts around the world. But with those guys, you can just buy one rig. Some people have 100 rig minimums, which kind of squeezes out the little guys. Some is 10.
Oh,
It just depends. But there is stuff out there if you really were interested in mining.
oh,
Cloud mining is you don't even buy a rig at all. You're just buying hash power, basically, and whatever it earns, you get into your wallet. Um,
but I have
but,
to create a
but again,
wallet.
we can talk about this offline if you'd like.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I mean, but the Phantom is a wallet, right?
Sorry, the Phantom is what?
Phantom is a wallet, right?
Phantom? I don't know. It
It
could
is
be.
a phantom wallet. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Yeah. It's just a storage thing that you don't own.
Yeah.
let's
Like,
see.
this is why there's no decentralized, right? Because in order to trade, it has to go through some mechanism. So it
But
either has
Phantom,
to go direct, which has its own set of problems, because now you're going to trust somebody that you actually don't know, right?
yeah,
Or it has to go through a centralized authority, in which case now
Right,
it's
but I'm
central.
trusting Phantom right now to keep my wallet, though. I mean,
yeah. Phantom is a decentralized wallet, though. You have your own keys. You own your keys, so you own your crypto. But when you trade using,
Hopefully, hopefully, you don't know that. I think the number of wallet scams where people thought that and it wasn't true are
I,
numerous,
at
and
this
that's
point,
assuming they
though,
don't get broken into, like has
sure.
already happened with several wallet authorities.
I would say
Problems
at this
don't go
point,
away.
though, if Phantom's the number one like downloaded app, like on the App Store and financial markets, that they got a pretty good handling on at least the security
Yeah.
and
The last
popularity.
one that got broken into was two, by the way. Like this is not new, right? The last one
Sure.
that got broken into was also the most downloaded, most used wallet. I'm just saying, like these problems don't go away.
Yeah.
You're not
It
getting
is a
around.
decentralized wallet, though, in the terms of that, though. You compare it.
So
You don't
Mike, what
own it.
I do is so the Bitcoin mining rewards, I have those purposely go to a centralized area like Strike or OpenNode, and I let it accrue there, and then I put it to cold storage. The reason why I do that is just the number of it's UTXO management. Um, if you have a cold wallet and you have like a million UTXOs, chances are you're not going to be able to compile your wallet. So I let UTOs accrue on somebody else's dime before I offload it to cold storage. Now that might be, Bitcoin 401. I don't know if you're quite there yet,
Yeah,
but
that's Bitcoin
people
401. I
need to
don't know what a
realize like
cold wallet is.
UTXO management is a real thing, and a lot of these tiny little cold wallets just don't have the capacity. They'll get fried, if you just let your UTXOs grow without managing them.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good strategy. But yeah,
Yeah.
it relies on a lot of other things.
All right. Well, wow, I walked right into a great
Yeah,
conversation.
sorry we were
No, you're
you took
right.
over your call here,
No,
George.
I was gonna get Patty and Aaron to. I'm gonna make a cup of coffee, so maybe Patty and Aaron can start us off with a little update on stuff, and you'll pardon
Yeah.
me. I step away.
hmm So you're not even going to listen to the report?
We
Okay.
have it on
He can hear
recording.
you. Don't worry, he'll hear you.
All right. Okay. So on the market, actually, it's been kind of an up and down week. Overall, the Dow is down for the past 5 sessions, and the Nasdaq is up. But let's see. So the Dow is down for the whole week, as of this morning, 1.63%. S&P is down 0.64%, and only the Nasdaq is up 0.22%. But it's trying to be a positive day. I think based on Broadcom's earnings last night. But I'll back up a bit. So overall, I was kind of surprised that the figures are negative. Um, so CPI on Wednesday, I guess Monday and Tuesday were kind of down. People were waiting to see what the consumer price index would be on Wednesday morning. It came in as expected. So it is higher than last month. Last month was zero point 0.3, but they expected, was zero point 0.2. And it was that for the past 4 months increase. And so the street expected 0.3%. That's exactly what it came in. Year over year, it's 2.73%. It looks like inflation is going up. But since it came in as expected, the market shot up. So the NASDAQ for the first time went over 20,000. So that was a big day. Then Thursday at 8:30 in the morning, PPI was reported. It came in hotter than expected. So the market sold off. Yesterday was a pretty negative day. Everything was down less than 1%, but still, it was pretty negative. So the number on the PPI was 0.4%. I think they were expecting 0.3%. That's month over month. It was just showing that the wholesale prices are up 3% over the year. They estimated they would only be up like 2.6%. Gold and silver really sold off yesterday, big time, and to the point I sold everything. And they were going down again today. And the dollar this morning shot up to 106.82 the last I looked. So it's almost
Against the euro, is that
it's
what?
106. No, the dollar is now 106.97. It's almost about to hit $7, and it actually did on November 24th. It went to 107.31. That's the dollar index. Okay, the week to date, if you're following the Chinese trade, wow, that bubble burst. Everything is down. All of the Chinese stocks, and if you follow FXI, it's down more than $3. So let's see. On individual stocks, Tesla hit a milestone. It went over $420, and yesterday it went as high as $429. I think it's up 477% for the year. Broadcom reported last night, and they beat forecasts and gave a great guidance. So it shot up $26. It was hovering around 174. and this morning I think it opened up at 207. Oracle and Adobe missed. I think they were okay on revenue, but their forecasts were not great. So Oracle went from 197 down to 174, lost about $23. Adobe went from 549 and it lost $76 within 24 hours. It's down to 473 again. I think it's its worst day in a couple of years. Google had an interesting pop because they said that they are going to make some kind of quantum computer chip. So Google went from about 174 to yesterday, it hit a high, I think, of 197. So it went up about 11%. MicroStrategy, that'll be the last stock I'll cover. This year, I looked over 5 years, that stock is up 2,541%. 2,541%. And this morning it opened up about $400. And the day before, or Wednesday, it hit 420. So it is making lower highs because it hit 554 a couple of weeks ago, but it's hanging in there. It's still following the price of Bitcoin. And I noticed Bitcoin went over 102,000. Was it yesterday or
really?
the day before? Yeah. And it stayed there for a little while and then it came right back down. So that's my report.
How about Tesla? Did you mention that?
Yeah, Tesla's doing great. So Tesla went above 420.
Yes.
Which I guess was an annual high.
Yeah.
52-week high. And yesterday it went as high as over 429. Yeah, I think it's just going to continue up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So excellent. Aaron, I'm going to get you to throw in a little bit, and or Mike, you got a question?
I said Elon got his money's worth for supporting Trump.
Yes, he sure did.
And also, Patty, could you tell us what Pisces is in? I just want to make sure I know.
Pisces? Neptune is in Pisces. Is that what you're asking?
Oh, yes. Neptune is in Pisces.
Yes.
Oh.
Why'd you ask that?
I'm sorry. I'm making a joke.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't ever catch on to jokes. Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces. Very important. You've got a year to bring your dreams, which are represented by Neptune, and reality, Saturn. They're going to all come together. So next year is a year of planning. It all comes together. February 20th, 2026. It'll never happen again in our lifetime. Start planning.
So February 2026, everything comes together then?
Your hopes and dreams, whatever you've been working on. Yes, but you can't just dream about it. You actually have to do something. So make sure you're actually taking action, making plans. If you're starting a new business or whatever it is, you want to get married, something big. It's really big. Yeah. I'm sorry. Should I include an astrology forecast as well? I'm happy to do that.
Well, let's just keep it.
Wasn't expecting it, but that was cool.
Okay.
So real quickly, Mike, I'm going to bring you in a second, and I want you to. I heard some stuff about the riverfront walk down in the West Columbia, Casey area being impacted by some of the water, and maybe you can speak to that after Aaron goes, and then we'll kind of just, talk whatever. Anyway, Aaron, you going to take it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, good morning. Sorry about last week. Had some last minute calls with Lick. I know we've talked about that before, liquidated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm glad you were busy, buddy.
We missed you.
I think my mic just cut out.
We hear you.
Is that your chart on the screen?
Yeah, so I want to talk through because I talk about Bitcoin dominance and whatnot, and you've kind of seen, with really the liquidations that we had that giant candle from down to 90K on Bitcoin, and then really alts weren't affected. And then, a couple days later, then you had another giant liquidation event And alts were affected at that though too. And a lot of that wasn't necessarily the market pulling back or correcting. It was a liquidation event to where it's cleaning out that leverage um, that's out there, that open interest, and kind of resetting the funding that's out there. But just to kind of highlight when people talk about Bitcoin dominance, it's the percentage of Bitcoin to everything else. And this kind of leads into where I think Bitcoin price is headed to is if you look at the total market cap, um, and really 3.5 trillion was an area of mine. The next one's really 4, I think, before we see a considerable pullback. But you have 6 months of accumulation and distribution that go on right here, 6 or 7 months. The market changes and goes into a price discovery phase. And that's what you're seeing and what we're in currently now. So really the type of trading and the mentality kind of changes. And if you look at the Bitcoin price chart, sure, this all makes sense. You know, that goes along with accumulation, distribution. You got that jump in price and then this price discovery. Now, if you look at Bitcoin dominance, you see this same 6 or 7 months, but all of a sudden it goes down. And what's happening there, if you know how to read that trend, is that's when all the alts started taking off. Each time you see that go down, those candles, and Bitcoin price and total market cap continues to trend upwards, but Bitcoin dominance goes down, you know, alts are taking over. So you see AVAX, you see Link, you see Doge, you see all these alt currencies that are going up hundreds and, you know, a couple 100% Ripple, all those all that money is being shifted to that liquidity is being shifted over right there. So all of a sudden, Bitcoin price goes straight up and alts don't do anything. It's because it reclaimed some of that dominance, and then it goes back down. So you see that liquidity shift, and what you're going to see is really the top, in my opinion, of the Bitcoin dominance at this 61. Um, and it'll maintain like this, and you'll actually trend upwards with alts and Bitcoin going up with not as much real without Bitcoin leading the way. They'll move together for the cycle, but the a lot of people are changing their outlook on the top for Bitcoin this cycle because I thought 130, 140. Um, but a lot has changed with really right in this. No other cycle has had this big of a accumulation distribution prior to price discovery, prior to that. So with administration, with everything that's coming, you know, it's kind of a guessing game as to how high, but there's a reason there was this much accumulation and distribution. So a lot of people are changing, you know, to 200, 200 plus, and you know, there's you know, a lot of thought that institutions are trying to get all of retail out to where they own it all and they can take it up high enough too to where hopefully you got one Bitcoin or you got half a Bitcoin for that inevitable move up to where they price everybody out though too. So it's getting interesting at the end of the day, just spot buy and DCA on the way up and you know you'll be fine. But yeah, that's kind of my spiel on that. Hopefully you see, because a lot of people don't see where Bitcoin dominance is important and why alts are doing what they're doing and Bitcoin's doing what it's doing until you actually see it on a chart. But I didn't put any other lines or try to complicate it too much. But yeah.
Excellent. All right.
So
Mike,
no pullback.
yeah.
There's no,
Anybody got any
there's no
questions on
pullback
that?
anytime soon.
Pullback.
Yeah,
I think around 4 trillion. Santa rally up until like the end of December, and then beginning of January into December, I think you'll maybe see 88K Bitcoin
Whoa.
before it really takes off. So we'll see. That's the next like really gap, or I mean everybody's calling 88K, so it probably won't hit 88K. Um, so
I
you
need to
know
know that
everybody.
day that you think it's going down to 88 because MicroStrategy will tank.
Well, the
Jeez.
22nd, the 22nd is always an important date in the calendar too. So I'd keep an eye on that and then um, maybe some slow, but up until the new year. I think it'd just be another opportunity to add spot positions. up until March, really April, May, I think will be like the Pico top um, as of right now. But I mean, you got to consistently change based on what the market gives you each day too. So um,
If
with
you're,
the
yeah, if
information
you're in
we
the
have,
trading position, yeah,
yeah, spot buy, you just buy and just set it and forget it.
right.
So you're good.
Put it in that strike account.
Yeah.
If you have any indication we're going down to 88, please send out a tweet.
I'll send a text message to the group, but I'm no crystal ball reader. I can
I
say it
mean, a
may,
text. Yeah.
but yeah.
That's
Yeah, a text would be nice. Thank you.
That's great. Thank y'all both. And if Mike wants to pipe in, I just heard something about the Riverwalk in West Columbia had been closed, and there's a major meeting, I think, with FEMA and with the city to try and rebuild that walkway that's right on the river. So, Mike, do you have any? I know this is off course, but Mike, do you want to share
Yeah.
anything?
So it's my understanding that some of the bank has been destabilized in some areas. We
Mm.
only have like about maybe a mile and a half of that, that front there. So some of that bank has been, as I said, some of the bank underneath the sidewalk has been destabilized, and we're looking at how to stabilize that to make it. Apparently, Casey made their section a little bit harder, um, um, early on, and we did not do it as well with
So
that.
Casey wasn't as impacted by this severe weather we had with the rains and everything as West Columbia,
Right.
which are two adjacent cities
Right.
for those of
Well,
you.
I mean, the bank was not their bank. They hardened their bank.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm talking bank of the river versus we did not harden our bank area.
Okay. So now you're going to call in FEMA to help you correct your mistakes.
Yes. So we're sucking at the government's tit. Uh,
Okay.
so I mean, just a matter of who gets there first, I guess.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I've got an interest in what's going on over there, but it's closed and they can't walk. So everybody is, I don't know what they're doing for exercise over there. But anyway, um, it's closed. I did want to just recap a little bit or ask y'all to chime in on our Wednesday call with Tim Niemeyer, where we talked a little bit about mining, Bitcoin mining, and a number of other aspects. We got into a little rabbit hole and a couple little conversations, but for the most part, it was easy to understand. I thought I was sorry about the issues with the audio. That was that was a bummer, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard the replay yet, so I don't know if that has impacted it, but or not. But anyway, so he got into Bitcoin mining, went into a little bit about Marathon, buying a wind farm to do renewables, and I thought this was interesting. They they can operate in Texas, which is where Marathon is and where this wind farm is. They can operate behind the meter. So they are going to take this farm and they're going to bring in dated Bitcoin miners and give them longer life, basically with zero energy costs. So the value there proposition works if you don't have to pay for your electricity costs. Now, so once those miners are done, I don't know, I don't understand all that, but I guess there's advanced miners and then there's the older miners that don't perform, but they still perform, but they don't perform as proficiently as some of the newer miners. Did everybody pick up on that when I was just saying there? How that was so unfortunately, South Carolina does not have an opportunity to create that kind of a business proposition because they won't let you create energy behind the meter for that kind of
You
project.
could do it off grid. You could do it off grid. That's completely, that's your own meter.
Now,
And if you owned a private site, if you owned like a private hydro site, that's behind the meter too. Um, so like I don't have any rigs there, but there's a company in the Midwest, and they've got like 100 privately owned hydro facilities. They're all small, like 1 megawatt, like Wisconsin, Michigan, all that. They're all behind the meter, but they all like they do Bitcoin mining, but they have a contract with whatever local municipality, so they have curtailments and everything, but they're behind the meter,
Yeah.
so it can be done.
And Patty, my understanding is you're right, but it has to be out in the middle of some farm field somewhere where the grid is not extended. So
Yeah, or it's privately owned. Like I think there are one or two privately owned hydro facilities in South Carolina, but I don't know what their relationship is with,
okay.
the local
Yeah.
power companies. But theoretically, that's behind the meter too.
Yeah, there's
Very
also a
fine
small mill.
slice.
Yeah.
There's also a small mill up in I forget what little town it's in, but uh, Bob Burnett is mining there. He put the generator back in shape. It's a hydro facility. They're not tapped into the grid for any backup whatsoever. So certainly concur with Patrick on that. I mean, there are some opportunities, but not too many.
Nope.
It's
And
I've
I'm
got a
looking
pond,
for them,
George.
trust me.
that does not
I've
Yeah.
got a pond, George.
I've been
It
looking for them
faces
too.
south.
Believe me.
I've got a dam. I've got a south-facing pond. We could put a floating solar and a little hydro at the bottom. Just let me know. You give me all your money. I'll take care of it. No problem. We can do
What's-
this.
What's the
Just
rent
let me
on
know.
that monthly?
We'll work it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So, but you
Make this work for everybody.
miners would be not able to help balance the grid. So there's that two sides of that argument, I guess. But anyway, that was one thing I took away from what he was talking about. Anybody else? Mike got down the miner device rabbit hole for a little bit, and we did talk about hash rate.
Bitcoin. Even if I buy $150 miner off of eBay, but if I set it up to my solar powered generator, then maybe it might work.
Wow.
What if you didn't do any of that? Is your electricity bill just going to skyrocket? Is that
Well, it's just a little bit. It just takes a little bit of power.
then why are we if it's just going to be in your house,
No,
why would you need to bother?
Electric here is cheaper than solar by leaps and bounds, especially over time, like a lot cheaper.
The electric is cheaper than solar.
In this state, it's vastly cheaper. If you do the 10-year ROI, it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. And maybe if you had really high-end solar, but that's more money. You'd have to redo the math.
Or you could just buy more real estate and higher profit margin.
All right.
No, it doesn't. Solar doesn't scale at all. Solar scales backwards, right? The bigger it is, the less profitable it is until you get to a really big scale.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
But if you had
Just
it
do
at
the
your
math.
house,
Like everyone's lying about solar. Just do the math for
100
yourself. You can do it. There's solar calculators. You can just do the math. That's why no one's doing this. Only big businesses that get tax breaks put up solar farms anywhere in this country.
we do have a good solar tax credit here in South Carolina. It's worth $35,000, but you have to spread the $3,500 over 10 years.
Got it.
So, okay. Well, if we were to put up a computer in our house, what would the expected monthly or annual increase to our electricity bill be? Double?
No.
You would just have to multiply your electricity rate by how much power it's consuming.
Yeah,
it wouldn't make back its money.
So I'll
It
give you an
would?
example. I have two desktop computers running in my house 24 hours a day because they're servers for my business, right? I probably only pay
$30 a month to have those running, and they're crunching 3D models. They're not doing that 24 hours a day, but you can do the basic math based on the power supply and the power draw of the graphics card or whatever the ASIC miner is. I'm sorry I missed this call, but I have some personal experience because in 2017 and 2018, my father-in-law and I ran about 35 ASIC miners and roughly 20 GPU cards across three rigs. No, six rigs. And our electric bill, we got a separate pole for the ASICs. And at the time, our electric bill was roughly $3,000 a month for those ASICs. And we were, and this is, you got to remember, this is when Bitcoin hash rate was, or excuse me, the block difficulty was much less than it is now. We were losing efficiency of the miners at a rate of about 15% a month. So something we bought brand new on the market for $1,500, $2,000. By the time it shipped to us, the output capacity was about, was less than when it hit the market, right? I don't know. For me, my personal opinion is there are way better investment options in the actual market to get that rate of return with your capital than the headache, because the other part of it is managing that. I mean, it became a full-time job for he and I, my father-in-law and I, to make sure everything was up and running. The cooling was efficient, that network issues were resolved. Reboots had to occur if some of the miners crapped out, hash rates went down. We had to pull cards, reapply thermal paste on the GPU under the fan because they were overheating. Yeah, I mean, and we were small scale, right? Relatively speaking, we were small scale. I'm not saying you can't do this. I'm just saying at the current block difficulty for an ASIC miner, I think your capital could be better invested elsewhere, especially since we're on the left side of the parabola in the bull market. That's just my
buy Bitcoin.
No, I'm not. I actually hold zero Bitcoin. Most of my work is on Solana these days. I've been scouting projects for 6 weeks on Solana. And I wanted to hop on here this morning to kind of put you guys in a different direction, because the tech of this cycle is revolving around AI agents, and it is evolving rapidly. People are pulling Grok and Meta and Claude, Opus, GPT, and they're hacking together new models. And these models are able to interact on Twitter, with alpha that they've scraped from other accounts to make market analysis. And I've had pretty good success following one of these bots, because when it bull posts about something, I can go onto Hyperliquid, which is a perps exchange, and I can leverage after they've posted. And what's occurring now is these AI agents are evolving so fast that I can just tell an AI agent to watch this Twitter account. When they post about X asset, take X wallet, go to X exchange, purchase X coin, ladder out at X percentage of gains, right? Like, that's where we are. I don't know if y'all are
just to add
aware
on,
of that.
add on to what Eric's talking about too, because I'm pretty deep into the not only Solana, but for instance, yesterday there was one that was launched. It was Gwort, this zero knowledge snark, and it's an AI bot that replicates Twitter personalities. But it launched yesterday from Pump.Fun at a zero market cap, and it's sitting at a 13.2 million market cap in less than 12 hours. So like in our Telegram, we hit a 35, 40x, 3,500, 4,000%, to where if you put, one soul in there, you're now sitting with, 35, 40 soul. And then do the math on that too. So if you can catch these early and be on that, because now you look at Cerebro, or you look at Goat, or you look at some of these other ones, that are sitting at 500 million on exchanges now too. So all of that really, and there's big players, not just crypto influencers, but big people that are getting into it now. They have access to it on exchanges. So it starts very small and it seems like this kind of trendy, but it's gonna pick up. It's gonna get bigger and bigger, and he's exactly right.
And I'll tell you this, my biggest success so far in the last 6 weeks has been getting in on a token called Griffane, or if you go to the website, it's Griffin. But what I noticed, basically living on X for weeks on end, is that the founder of Solana Labs, Anatoly, started retweeting and posting or pinning this particular project. And I got in under 10 million market cap, and gosh, I don't know, 2 weeks we're at 360 million market cap. And they are going to integrate this with the Solana phone. Think of it like Siri or Chat GPT, but it is specific to Solana. It is being backed by Solana. And it is basically an AI agents marketplace where you can integrate and interact with this. You could create your own. One of the interesting use cases I saw here was you could basically create your own agent for your family and pass that agent down, right? Like you can teach it about facts about your holdings, your wealth, your strategies, and it will be able to interact with anyone you give it access or give access to it, right? The other thing that's evolved out of this rather quickly, or at least it's caught fire, is this concept called a blink. Um, a blink is an interaction between a large language model that you can tell it to do something and it will interact in Web 2. So, hey, I need, Grafane, I need to get George a Christmas present. I know he likes X, right? It's going to give me some options for X. I'm going to select an option. It already knows my wallet. It's going to interact from the chain to Web 2 to make that purchase and ship it and have it completed, right? That's it. And they're talking about integrating that on mobile.
As it's called Blink.
Well, blinks is a concept. A blink is a way to interact between the two. And so we've talked about before, hey, is Elon Musk going to integrate payments on X so you can buy stuff and interact directly off of X from the post and perform an action, right?
Yeah.
It's going to take over. The concept is taking over. I have some positions in a few of these projects. There's one called Only Blink. There's another one that basically Only Blink is a Solana backed version of Pump.Fun that launches blinks. It's like I said, it's accelerating very fast, and
Yeah.
it kind of hurts my head to keep up with week over week how much this is growing and at the rate. Because now that the LLMs or the bots can perform these actions for you, they can create the website, they can create the Twitter account, they can create the posts, they can put the contract up, they can interact with Grok to create the imagery to put like
Yeah, it's just
And yeah, to add on to what he was saying with Solana Mobile too, I was on the phone with him that last Friday with talking about Lick. So you can order a soul-bound wallet, like a Solana Mobile cell phone, and you can pre-order it, and you'll get airdrops for certain projects. So just like a little bit of alpha from Lick though too is we have a collaboration with them to where um, essentially the 13,000 people that have on the wait list are going to get a little bit of Lick with that too, and these phones are going to be strictly you already have your wallet and everything too, so it's kind of a good, cool collaboration for us. But yeah, Solana Mobile is growing. They continue to grow. What he's saying is it's spot on. But
Like
yeah,
you could just go into Griffin and tell it, hey, I want to buy Solana Seeker. Tell it which wallet you want and confirm the address, and it's done. Like you don't have to go through click the website. You don't have to go have Google autofill your shit. Like it does it for you. And that's the speed that this is accelerating at. So for me, I still think Griffin's a good buy. Anything short of a billion, I think it's a good buy. I mean,
I'm with,
I'm already up 16x, but you know,
well, I tried my little bit that I do outside of Bitcoin, but I couldn't find any exchange where you could buy it. So I don't know how to buy it. And that's I'm not the only person in that boat. When you talk all this stuff, you're talking to a
well, it's
very
off the chain.
minuscule amount of people
Well,
to transact like you're able to transact. So to me,
Um,
it
well,
maybe we all
Phantom
Eric,
Wallet,
moonshot.
Radium.
yeah, they've
just tell
even
the exchange you're on.
well, even Moonshot, right? So Moonshot, all you need is a credit card or Apple Pay, and it's just like Robinhood. So if you can work Robinhood, you can work Moonshot. And you can, if it's not verified, you can always copy and paste an address, but the verified tokens are on there, and it's not even a wallet. Essentially, you transact. I mean, it is a wallet, but it's very easy. It removes that friction of transferring, funds back and forth or setting up wallets and doing this. It's just cash and the coin right there. And,
I
you
I
know,
did look it up, Aaron, and yeah, I was with you. There is a point where you have to KYC, but
yep.
initially
Yeah.
you don't need to. So it was what my takeaway was on that. But so anyway,
Yeah.
and maybe
I
we'll.
mean, if I can kind of speak to that, George, the if you own Solana on any major exchange, you can get a Phantom wallet, and Phantom has now overtaken MetaMask in the number of users. It's come out of nowhere, frankly, but it works on multiple chains. They're adding more, but um, Phantom Wallet, it's like a purple icon, like a purple block with a little white ghost. Um, that's become the decentralized wallet that is people on TikTok are going on this, people on X, Facebook. It's become kind of the new MetaMask because it's just less work. And so if you can send Sol to that wallet address, now you can interact on any of the Solana exchanges that aren't, they're all decentralized. So you got Jupiter. You can do it directly from the app. It'll route um, transactions generally through Radium. Radium is kind of the Solana market maker, Radium and Meteora. Um, but it's the real wealth is made catching these before they get a listing, right? Like
Right.
that's always been the play. And if you want safe, hey, you can still have part of your portfolio invested in that direction. I do too. Um,
What is considered safe?
no blue chips,
Yeah.
right? Anything like the top 10 market
Top
cap.
10. Yeah.
So
Are you
I
that's
talking
just
about
downloaded
stocks
Phantom.
or you're talking about crypto?
Ethereum, Bitcoin.
I'm
So
talking about crypto.
Oh, okay. Crypto,
I,
yeah.
Now,
I, I
now,
just I just downloaded the Phantom Wallet this morning myself about an hour and a half ago, and I hate to admit it, but I did buy my first meme coin today, so
hey,
I'll let you know
yo,
how that works out.
Hold on, Dennis. Did you buy Lick? You got to get licked.
I'll buy some lick too, but
There you go.
I saw something. I saw something on Facebook in a little pub group that I'm subscribed to. It's apparently a local group. Apparently, there's a local Solana developer. Eric, maybe you know him, but they've got something called Baby Can't Walk, and something like 800%. And I said, okay, well, I mean, it's only been trading a couple of days, you know.
so here's my warning. Um, there Solana now has the most developers, right? They've surpassed Ethereum in
Mhm.
the number of developers arriving here. So new projects are launching, but it is incredibly easy for things to hit pump.fun and get launched. The um the market moves fast, right? Because Solana has very cheap transaction fees and very fast transaction rate, things can go south quick. So I would just say,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're watching it, take your gains, at least get your initials out.
Get
Just
in, get out. Yep.
yeah, I mean, unless
I was
you're
really,
something 10 to 15,000 million market cap and up, those are generally not dumping as fast. But anything under, you're gambling. You're literally gambling.
yeah.
Okay.
I was surprised how quickly the transfer went through from crack, and I bought a little extra soul there and transferred it to the wallet. I mean, it was there instantaneously.
Yeah,
It was
oh yeah.
really amazing. Yeah, yeah.
There's a reason Solana's taken off. I mean, I just it's so cheap. It's so cheap
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
fast.
All right. Well,
Uh,
let me. I obviously have extended this call to beyond our usual hard stop.
sorry,
Uh,
George jumped in and just took
okay.
over there.
And we did go down a rabbit hole there, but I thought it's kind of fascinating. We didn't get a chance
Yeah.
much to talk about Tim Niemeyer's position on strategic reserve for Bitcoin. He did get into a number of states, and we put that in. We just understood that there were a couple of states now that have introduced legislation. We might go down that rabbit hole maybe next week, and I need to just talk about. So I'm wrapping this baby up, but um, that, and then we've got some legislation in the state house on CBDC, which is okay. I want to go back to Reba's comment about charters and banks being changed to be able to offer digital assets. Maybe I'd like to get Neil from the Bankers Association to join us and talk about that a little bit. And that may be next week. I don't know. Y'all,
And that
I'm sorry.
Trump wants to get rid of all bank regulators and the FDIC.
Okay, I don't.
Who
Throw that
does?
in the mix.
I didn't see
Who
that.
Trump
does?
Trump
Oh,
wants to get rid of all the bank regulators, and I guess it's the Doge guys, Vivek and
Elon.
Elon.
Musk. Sorry, Musk
yeah,
want
I
to get
hadn't
rid
heard
of
that
the
one.
FDIC. I'm not sure how that would require an act of Congress, but I only mention that if you invite Neil to come on, we'd have to get his opinion from the Bankers Association.
I agree. I agree. So what I'm going to do on this,
And
go ahead, Reva.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to mention that the Blockchain Association is having their annual policy conference this Monday and Tuesday in DC. I'm not
Mhm.
going, but I'm going to get intel on what they come up with. There are a lot of legislators who are going to present, and we'll find some, I think, interesting news coming out of that.
Okay.
Excellent. God, that'd be great. So what I'm going to do with this call is I do download it, and if you'd like, if you just text me or email me and say, yeah, I'd like a copy of it. I think I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel because I've enjoyed this one, and we can just share it, and if you want to share it with some other people. But we did go over a little bit of time, but that's okay. Anybody got anything else? I think we'd like to do one more call this year, and that would be next Friday, the 20th. Is everybody okay with that? And then we take 2 weeks off because the next one right after Friday, right after Christmas, and the Friday right after New Year's, and I'll be gone. And so if everybody's cool with that, we'll jump back on it towards January the 10th. Yes.
I did have a question for Patty real quick.
Okay.
So you're talking about silver and gold. I know there was some macro level central bank activity that may have affected it, but do you think that there's speculation that the third funding source for the Bitcoin strategic reserve is causing a downdraft in the precious metals? Because they're proposing to basically liquidate the United States gold reserves, which is like something 600 million troy ounces or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think the market, and I'm talking about the bond market, believes that inflation, the 10-year yield is now 4.33. It just continues to go up. It has gone up ever since July. And I think when the bond market, which apparently is smarter than the stock market, shows that there's going to be inflation, I think the next step would either be stagflation or deflation, which would not be a good time to own gold. So I do think there's some forward thinkers dumping the gold and silver and other types of commodities. Copper never got a bounce because next year I don't think things are going to be that great.
If I could add, I think that's very astute, Patricia. One other thing I might add, and I'm just guessing here, but yesterday BlackRock came out with their investment portfolio allocation analysis and are advocating that portfolios include 2% of their holdings in Bitcoin and split it between gold or precious metals and Bitcoin, whereas heretofore it was all precious metals. So that might also be influencing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you know that like a couple of years ago, the traditional 60-40 balance, they only allocated 20% to that and 80% to Bitcoin. That's what their model spit out, which is of course ridiculous,
Wow.
but that's what their model came.
And we might talk about this new market capital that created, it's called battery loans, and they are willing to secure that loan with a 10% or up to 30% with Bitcoin. And they will not, if the price of Bitcoin does drop, they will not call a margin. They won't do a margin call or liquidate the account. They understand the value, the long-term value of Bitcoin, and they will ride that baby with you. So I know that was kind of interesting. So
I
What
think
was the
that's great.
what's the LTV on that?
I have no idea.
What was the question?
What's the
What's the
LTV?
loan to value on that? You say you can borrow, but what's the loan to value?
I don't know. I just just a little highlight or a little.
That's cool.
I didn't get that deep into it.
Because I'm sure if they're saying that, the haircut must be pretty severe.
Who is this battery that's doing this?
It's called Battery Loan, and New Market Capital. Just read something real quickly about them. Has created this. I guess it's an arm of their company. And it's called Battery, Battery Loan. And we've started to hear this where they're starting to incorporate Bitcoin into part of the collateral that the bank holds to, or that you hold that the bank has access to. Collateral.
Well, I think.
Yeah, and on the other I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. On the other side of that, they're also now offering yield products if you stake your Bitcoin or other types of crypto as well.
Yep. So,
hey, just one more note on the gold comment. I mean, I don't know whether anybody saw it, but El Salvador just announced that they have $3 trillion of unmined gold in their, that they've announced. So
the supply side.
Another supply side issue. Yeah, no question about it. And if anybody watched Trump's presentation in Abu Dhabi, I mean, he really drove home, the concept of digital scarcity, and I'm seeing that more and more in the financial news. Chatter. Obviously, digital scarcity is. I think people are starting to wake up to what that really means. When it comes to commodities, I mean, there's no other commodity other than Bitcoin, that can, that has a fixed supply. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here.
And that reminds me, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, that Trump was the opening bell, hitting the gavel yesterday morning. I'm so sorry I forgot that. They made a really big deal about it. And that Time Magazine named him.
It was impressive.
Person of the year.
Yeah, he had his picture behind him. Is that the one?
Well, I saw the picture a lot, so I can't remember if it were directly behind him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then yesterday they announced this portfolio. Obviously, they drove the the price of the AVX token up and Chainlink. I mean, there's a lot of hype going into the marketplace right now.
All right. Well, y'all have a great week and weekend, and let's meet one more time for the year next Friday. Have a great weekend.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well, if Eric is still on the phone, I wish we could have another Saturday get together and at your office, George, and pull down the screen and all of this maneuvering that Eric does. I wonder if he would be our teacher and show us how he does that.
Only if there's wine available.
But yes, we'll bring snacks. That will
That's what I
be
meant. That's what I meant.
yeah. Is Eric still there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you
I'm
do
still
that
here.
sometime?
Liquid or solid snacks?
We did
I
it on a
could
Saturday.
potentially. I've got a few work things scheduled on Saturdays, and I have 3 small kids, so it's
Bring the children. We'll babysit. But
oh,
I
we'll
just
never get anything
it
done.
doesn't have to be in the next couple of weeks, but I just
Well,
think maybe for the
certainly.
spring that would be something.
Well, I think the value proposition is getting the education out there earlier. I mean, Stephen and I had posted in the group about doing, a bit of a educational thing for, a fee. And I think that that's still something that he and I are interested in doing because there is a tremendous amount of information, and it would probably be something like a 1 to 2 day workshop to really
Wow.
educate people off, to get you off chain or off a centralized exchange, right? Because it's wading into the waters. And I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable in that way. And some people will be like, hey, day one, I got everything I need, I'm out. And other people will be like, no, I got more questions. I need to understand this mechanic. I need to understand why you're going here, what you're looking for there. And I think that type of
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
I hope
Aaron,
you do it on a
probably.
Monday or a Friday. Then
All right.
if
Yeah,
you're not going to do Saturday.
We'll carry this conversation on after we close today. And just again, thank y'all so much. It's been great. Y'all have a good
All
week.
right.
Yes. Everybody
Right.
have a
No
nice
problem.
Thank
weekend.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
we can
you.
talk about that. Thank y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.